Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
Hey everyone, it's Jeff here on Get to Know Me podcast, where I just want to first welcome everyone, and also it's a platform for us to get to know our beloved trans and non-binary family out there, just wanting to live their life like everyone else does. So I've got the honor today of having Slaveboy Drake on. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I am doing good, and I just want to just dig right into this and just get to talk to you a little bit. So, how has being trans been an obstacle in your life with friends, family, and your work? How has it affected?
Friends not so much an issue. I mean, they accepted me right away. I transitioned late in my life. My parents to this day refuse to acknowledge it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, it's kind of hard to admit, but you know.
What about, and I don't want to dig too much into it, but how it has affected work-wise?
Actually, just fine. I'm a librarian. I'm a supervisor librarian for the public library here in town. There's 22 branches. And my staff have fully accepted. They have no issues at all. Very accepting.
That's good. That is really good. So, and I know you have it on the screen like I do, but what pronoun do you go by?
Oh, he, him.
He, him, okay. So you said you transitioned late.
Mhm.
So what do you feel like you missed out most on in your childhood if you did do this at a later time? Do you feel like you missed out on anything?
I really do. I transitioned around 2017,
Okay.
so not that long ago. And I missed out on a lot. I grew up as a tomboy.
Okay.
So I was pretty much, I would always joke around when I was a kid, like I have a mentality of a boy, but I'm a girl, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have the personality and mentality of a boy my whole life. Um, but I feel like I missed out on a lot of the staple things that they go through, like be able to go to prom with whoever I wanted at the time.
Right.
I was forced into heteronormative relationships back then,
Hmm.
missed out on just little things, just being myself and being able to dress and not feeling like I'm being judged for how I was dressed and things like
Of course. Of course. So what has been your favorite part about the transition, if you have a favorite part?
that. Oh, it, the facial hair.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Oh, man.
I refuse to shave any of it, no matter how long it takes. It took me a long time.
Oh, that's, hey, if it's something that you have enjoyed is in your favorite part, keep it going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, being a trans person, what worries you the most this day and age?
Mm. Well, as you know, our rights are actually possibly going to be taken away at a lot
Yeah,
of
I
states.
know.
I'm pretty lucky to be in California, where my governor is already preparing to fight against President Trump when he gets elected, with a lot of things that he's trying to put on the table. But a lot of my brothers and sisters are already trying to find their way out of the state because they're fearful for where they live because of the laws that are trying to get put through already. So it's mostly just losing rights to healthcare and just basic rights.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I mean, we got to support everybody, and that means all of us, and make sure that all of our brothers and sisters out there are taken care of. So
Right.
I'm with you on that. So, has there been anything that's been surprising about your transition as you went through it?
As far as physically, mentally, or
Whatever you'd like to share. I mean,
um, emotions were a weird thing for me, because it's hard for me to show my emotions like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that changed. I didn't become angry. A lot of people went through that, but I was more closed off emotionally at
Okay.
first. So I had to really work through that. That was a big surprise.
So, how has your experience being trans in the kink and leather spaces been?
Mhm. Actually, I feel like I was accepted the most there, which is surprising because a lot of people don't feel accepted as trans or non-binary.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'm really fighting to make sure that that gets changed. But for me, it became my second family. They're the ones that fully enclosed around me and accepted me for who I was.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
yeah, yeah.
What would have made it easier for you to transition, looking back on it now?
Being able to come out sooner, I think, as a trans person. I fought back and forth on the idea for a few years before 2017. Um, I feel like if I transitioned earlier, like in high school, my life would have been so much easier.
I get you. And when you think about your transition, what have you found that has been hard? There may be several, but what have you found that's been the hardest in your transition?
Hmm. Um, hmm. Medically, it would have to be. At first, I was giving my own injections,
Hmm.
and that was hard. But being able to have it done by the nurse totally made that much better. Other than that, I didn't really have any issues with transition.
Oh, good,
So
good.
yeah.
Well, what can people like me, how can I make things better for you and our brothers and sisters that are either starting to go through the transition or transition? What can we do to make it better for you guys?
I think especially right now is just speaking out against people that are talking against us or putting us down or treating us badly.
Hmm.
That's a big one as an ally, to just stand up for us, especially in the community. A lot of people are afraid to say anything because they're not sure who's safe and who's not.
Yeah.
So just making sure that you show that you are. That doesn't mean just wearing bracelets or anything. That's just literally mean putting the work forward by changing things in like conferences, making sure that it's accepting to all, making sure that there's no one that feels like they're not allowed to be in that door, no matter who they are. That's a big thing. I'm trying to work with some of the conferences to see what we could do to make sure that that happens, at least the big ones.
Good, good. Yeah, because I know I can imagine what you have had to go through, and still to this day, even though you're in California,
Mhm.
the things that you have to go through to live your life the way you want to live it. And
Well, I live in a red county, so it's one of those where my neighbor does not know. So
yeah, okay.
my neighbor does not know I'm trans, and I feel like he treats me great because he thinks I'm just some hick dude, next door. But I always think back in my head, what if he didn't? What if he did know? Would he
Yeah,
treat me different? So in the red counties, even in California, the Central Valley is very red. So I'm very careful with who I tell and who I don't tell.
sure, sure. Well, I totally understand that. Totally.
Yeah.
Well, any any last words that you would want to share before we in this podcast?
I think, sorry, my dog
It's
is
okay.
um, it would be mostly to the young brothers and sisters that are either thinking of coming out or are just first coming out, to
Hmm.
let them know that they're not alone, that there are people out there who have gone through what they're going through, that have gone through it, and especially those of us that are in positions in the community, such as myself, being international slave. Um, I want them to know that I'm trying to use my voice as much as possible so that they get heard. And if they have any issues, please come to us. If not me, someone else, come to someone else in the community. There's Mara, who's an international person of leather. They'd be happy to listen to you too. My master would love to listen to you. Any of us, just come to us. If there's anything you'd like us to get changed, please don't hesitate to come to us.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. I know it won't be the last time that we get to talk, but I just want to say thank you for reaching out, wanting to be a part of this.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Will you enjoy the rest of your afternoon in California?
Thank you. You have a great day too.
It is so important that we stand in solidarity, understanding, and progress with our trans family. It is our job in making the world a more inclusive and compassionate place for everyone, including our trans family. Please take care of everybody.